All right, today we're going to unpack a pretty fascinating piece of intelligence research. It's one that offers a fresh, independent look at one of the most complex regions in the world, Southern Lebanon. So let's dive right in.
So how do you plan for the unplannable? I mean, think about it. For any military strategist, this is the ultimate challenge, right? You've got this tangled web of politics, impossible terrain, and all these armed groups. Where do you even begin to map out what comes next? Well, that is the exact puzzle this analysis sets out to solve.
The official title of the report is Southern Lebanon Strategic Intelligence Analysis. And you know that formal kind of academic title? It's not just for show. It's really there to signal a serious, methodical effort to grapple with the huge strategic challenges of this particular area.
So what's this all about at its core? It's an analysis looking ahead, trying to understand a potential military invasion. And that's key. It's not just describing what's happening now. It's actually building a framework so we can better understand what could happen next, and just as importantly, why.
Okay, so who's behind this? The answer is actually a really big deal. The author operates completely outside of the usual intelligence agencies, and that gives them a uniquely unfiltered and really powerful perspective. The author is Aslan Sultan, an independent researcher, and that word independent is absolutely crucial here. What it means is that the analysis isn't being shaped by the political agenda of any one government. That allows for a much more objective and maybe even a more accurate picture of what's really going on.
And you know what? This independent voice is clearly hitting a nerve. I mean, look at these numbers. Over 600 views, more than 300 downloads, and in a really short time. This tells you it's not just some dusty academic paper. It shows that the people who really follow this stuff, analysts, students of the region, they're paying attention. They're digging in.
Okay, so what's actually in the analysis? How does it work? Well, the report builds its case by taking this incredibly complex situation and breaking it down into smaller, more manageable pieces. And honestly, that's where you start to see its real value.
And the scope here is, well, it's incredibly thorough. It starts at the macro level, right? The big geopolitical dynamics. Then it zooms all the way down to the micro. Things like the specific super challenging terrain and the local demographics. It looks at all the key players, from the different armed factions to the state itself. And critically, it dives into this idea of a vacuum of authority where they all have to operate. All of this is building towards one thing, mapping out potential military goals and, of course, the political fallout that would come with them.
Let's pause on that term for a second. Vacuum of state authority. This idea is absolutely fundamental if you want to understand Southern Lebanon. It's basically a situation where the central government's control is so weak that other groups, like armed factions, can pretty much operate freely. And that reality completely changes the math for any potential military operation.
But this is more than just a dry checklist of military factors. The report's real innovation, what makes it different, is its approach. It's a methodology that really pushes beyond the normal boundaries of what we think of as traditional intelligence.
In fact, the author themselves calls it a philosophical perspective. Now, you are just not going to find a phrase like that in a standard government intelligence report. It tells you that the goal here isn't just to understand the what and the how, but to get at that much deeper why that drives these conflicts that have been going on for so long.
So what does that actually mean in practice? Well, think of it like this. Standard intelligence is often super data heavy. It's focused on giving you facts you can act on right now for a specific government. This philosophical approach, it's different. It's driven by context. It's aiming for a deeper kind of strategic wisdom by looking at the broader dynamics and asking much bigger, more fundamental questions. All right, so let's get to the big takeaway. In a world that is just flooded with information, with constant analysis coming from everywhere, why does a single independent report like this one even matter? It matters because work like this gives us a crucial, unfiltered viewpoint. It's free from the usual institutional bias. It offers a perspective that can challenge the official stories we always hear and give students, policymakers, and really all of us a much clearer lens for looking at these incredibly complex global conflicts. And honestly, the journey of this report proves that there's a real hunger out there for this kind of analysis. It was published in late 2025, and it immediately started getting a lot of traction. Its audience just keeps growing, which shows you how relevant it is in our rapidly changing world.
And all of this leaves us with one last, kind of provocative question to think about. In this age of information overload, of constant media noise, what is the true value of a single independent voice that's committed to doing this kind of deep analysis?
Maybe its real power isn't just adding another opinion to the mix, but in giving us the kind of strategic clarity we so desperately need to cut through all the chaos.